Weeping may come for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That's from Psalm 30. But how long is the night? In August 1999, I was co-pastoring one of the largest churches in Cornwall. Very popular, had a very successful ministry. I'd recently made a trip to the USA on church business. I'd been to Albania in a refugee camp in the May of that year, and made a couple of appearances on local TV. And I can remember that my head was swelling more and more, really. And I think I'd become my own hero. And then in August that year, after a holiday in Poseth, and it was beautiful weather, on a Sunday afternoon, I got this call. And the call went something like this: Martin, I want you to know that your wife is in love with someone else. And I abruptly ended the call, basically saying to the person, you're crazy, put the phone down, went in the kitchen, and Sharon said, oh, who was that? And I explained. And I said, some crazy person. And Sharon said, it's true. I'll always love you, but I've fallen for someone else. During that day, my life, in fact our lives, turned upside down. I felt absolutely gutted, angry, sick, like the bottom of my world had fallen out, like there was no hope. I didn't know what to do. Adrenaline was rushing. It's like I was in control of nothing, and there seemed to be no way of getting life back. Over the next year, we remained in the darkness of that night. In the Bible it says weeping comes for a night. How long is a night? And during that year, people think that, oh, an affair is fun. I tell you, it isn't for anyone. And both of us, at different times, were even suicidal. It was desperate. But at the end, and it was a whole year, at the end of that whole year, somehow, something came right. And after nearly divorcing, we came back together as a couple, and the night was over. The weeping was over. Yes, there was a tough couple of years, maybe trying to get things back on track, but I want you to know that now, 20 years later, we're living in the joy. We're living in the rejoicing bit that it says in that psalm, in Psalm 30. Let's move on to October of last year, October the 12th. Sharon was sat in this chair where I'm sat right now, watching Strictly. I was sat on the settee, almost beside her here. And all of a sudden, we got a phone call from our son-in-law, Tom. And he said, we've had a bit of an accident. We're in Dareford. Can you pick up our dog? And on the way, could you pop in and see us? So off we set, and not thinking too much of it. But by the time we got to Dareford and we saw Helen in the bed, we realised things were much worse. And Helen was just telling us how bad her back was when a doctor came in and said, Helen, I need to check your stomach. And within a couple of minutes, he'd said, we need to take you to theatre for an operation. Within an hour, we were saying goodbye to Helen, and all of us weren't sure whether it was goodbye for the night or forever. What followed, as many of you know, was 9.5 weeks with her in hospital. There were many ups and downs during that time. There were the ups when, for instance, she came through the operation and come out of intensive care really well, but then there were so many hurdles to overcome. It was hard. It was tough. And it's like you just get your head down and push through because the night was long. The weeping carried on. When it got to 8.5 weeks, and look, the NHS are marvellous. Did, did you join in with that clapping this week? I opened the doors here at Tramar thinking probably won't be anyone doing it. And, all over the valley, there were people clapping. It was amazing. It must have been like that all over the land. We're just so thankful for our NHS. Next time they do that, make sure you get out and clap and maybe cheer too. NHS are amazing, and I thank God for them because they saved my daughter's life, and got her to walk and so on. Got to 8.5 weeks, she had her scans, and they weren't sure. No one was sure what to do. It didn't look that good on the scan, and they said, "Well, you maybe just have to get up and walk and see what happens." And that's what she did. She got up and walked. Sharon, my wife, said it was like when she walked when she was a toddler for the very first time. It was an amazing thing. And she's gone from strength to strength. And the darkness is over, the weeping is over, the joy of the morning has come. We're in darkness right now in our land, in our world. How long will it go on? I can't believe I'm doing this. Did you know I'm a Cornishman? I'm more at home with a Cornish shovel and a pitchfork, and here I am doing this video on my phone. And I'm the cameraman, I'm the lighting engineer, I'm the sound man, I'm even the hairstylist. Isn't it amazing? If my granddad died in the 1980s. If I was to tell him that I'm sat here making a cine film of myself on my phone, which then could be seen by others on their phones all over the world, he would think I'm crazy. It's amazing, this technology, isn't it? And here I am, a Cornishman, becoming a techno wizard. I'm impressed. I hope you are too. But how long will this darkness go on? Well, we're sort of 3 weeks into it, and I just need you to know it's going to go on, maybe 5 or 6 weeks more at least of real darkness. They're going to be tough times when we'll doubt God, times when we'll wonder if we can get through. But I want you to know, darkness is only for a period. The morning will come, the light will come, the rejoicing will come again. What can we do in the meantime? How can we get through this? Well, first of all, the old song says, one day at a time. I tell you what, take a day at a time. Be strong in it. Ask God for strength. You're going to need it. The next thing we need to do is we need to do everything that our government tells us to. When they tell us to wash, we need to wash. When they tell us to stay home, we need to stay at home. We need to do it all by the letter of the law. We need to do the best that we can to limit the spread of this virus. As Christians, we got something amazing. We can pray. And I tell you what, even today, if you're listening, if you're not Christian, even if you're an atheist, you can pray actually. Even if you've been anti-God all your life, you can pray. You can make a difference today. And this is what I would encourage you to pray. First of all, pray for the NHS, but not just in general. Name all the people, write down a list of all the people who are doctors, who are nurses, who are first responders, who are in the ambulance service, who are cleaners, who are cooking, whatever they're doing for the NHS. Write down their names and pray for them. And this is what I want you to pray. God, shield them. In Psalm 27, it says, the Lord is our shield. God, shield them. They're going to be wearing masks. They're going to be doing all they can. But we know at times it isn't enough. God, shield them. Then the next thing I want you to pray is this. Boris encouraged us to shield the 1.5 million people who are vulnerable. List all the people that are vulnerable that you know. Pray. God, be a shield to them. But then remember all those people that are senior in age. List them. Pray for them. Pray that God will shield them. What else can we do? We need to share love and kindness. I know we can't actually reach out to one another if we're isolated and so on, but in whatever way we can, show love and kindness to one another. Little things will make a difference. When I was going through the two traumas that I shared with you earlier, little things made a difference. When people reached out, when people just did something, it can make all the difference in the world. Well, we're nearly coming to the end of our time. Oh, I just need to let you know. You like my t-shirt? I'll just let you see it. Like, my England shirt. Now, next week, you have Tina next week, and I'll tell you why I'm wearing this shirt. Okay, so, but I can't tell you now, but next week I will. So we're going to pray for people, as it were. We're going to do all that we can. The last thing I want to say to you is this. The next 5 to 6 weeks are going to be really tough. We have a God that cares. During that time, it's going to be Easter. You may have read on my on the website where I just wrote a little bit about how it's like Good Friday now, and it is. Good Friday. If we were on the first Good Friday, we would have been there thinking it was the end of Jesus, thinking that it's over, thinking that he's dead and gone, that evil, that death had won. And we're going to be on Good Friday for several weeks. But remember this, it wasn't the end. Jesus overcame death. And Jesus will help us to overcome. Mankind has an amazing ability, God-given ability to love and to survive, and we will get through. Hang in there. And one more thing we can pray. We can pray for a miracle. We can pray for Italy. We can pray for Spain, for France. We can pray for the UK, for the US, for all the nations where this terrible virus, this terrible evil is taking over. And pray that God will bring about a deliverance. And I believe at the end of this, we will see his hand at work in individual lives and in our lives. I want to say to you today, God bless you and keep safe. Wow, we did it! Well done, sound man. Well done, light man. Well done, cameraman. We did it. Whew, wasn't that stressful? I think it's time for a cup of tea. Oh, better switch this off.